Welcome to Hollywood Actions. In this video, we're diving deep into one of the most whispered about corners of old Hollywood, the secret romances of Gary Cooper, one of the Golden Age's most iconic leading men. But here's the twist. This story comes not just from speculation, but from Clark Gable himself, who, before his death, allegedly named several gay actors from the era whom Gary Cooper was rumored to have dated in private. Gary Cooper, known for his rugged masculinity in roles in films like High Noon and Sergeant York. Now let's dive in. 1. Montgomery Clift. Few stars captured tragic beauty and sensitivity the way Montgomery Clift did. A heartthrob of the 1950s, Clift starred in A Place in the Sun, From Here to Eternity, and The Heiress. His brooding presence and piercing vulnerability made him the perfect counterbalance to Gary Cooper's rough-edged masculinity. Their affair remained one of mutual respect. Unlike many secret flings of the era, Clift and Cooper's closeness endured through the years, even as both men publicly dated women to protect their reputations. 2. Anthony Perkins. Best known as Norman Bates in Psycho, Anthony Perkins was a man divided between his talent and his need to conceal his true self. During his early Hollywood years in the 1950s, he was briefly linked to Gary Cooper. Perkins was 24 when he allegedly began a relationship with the much older Cooper. Their affair, Gable claimed, was intense but brief. Cooper was both fascinated and fearful of the consequences. Perkins admired Cooper's confidence and worldliness, while Cooper saw in Perkins a reflection of his own youthful insecurities. 3. Cary Grant. Cary Grant and Gary Cooper were Hollywood royalty. On the surface, both had reputations as ladies' men. But rumors of Grant's long-term relationship with Randolph Scott have fueled speculation for decades. Gable once reportedly told a studio executive, "Co-op had his fun with Cary. Those two were thick for a season or two." During a European promotional tour in the early 1940s, Grant and Cooper were said to have shared a villa on the French Riviera, away from Hollywood's watchful eyes. Grant's wit matched with Cooper's intensity led to a passionate but fleeting affair. 4. Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo, the young star of Rebel Without a Cause, was known for his sensitivity and tragic end. But during the late 1950s, he reportedly shared an intense but secret relationship with Cooper. Mineo was infatuated with older male stars, and Cooper's presence was magnetic to him. Though the relationship didn't last long due to the age gap and generational differences, Gable once quipped to a close friend, "Sal was head over heels." Co-op tried to play it cool. Mineo's life would later be cut short in a tragic murder, and his sexuality remained one of the open secrets of Hollywood's dark closet. 5. Rock Hudson. Arguably the most famous closeted actor in Hollywood, Rock Hudson had multiple secret romances before his death from AIDS in 1985. Clark Gable and Hudson worked on the same studio lots, and Gable was reportedly aware of Hudson's dalliances. In a private 1960 conversation, Gable mentioned Hudson and Cooper had a brief romance during the filming of Bengal Lancers and Winchester, 73. When their paths crossed through shared production teams. Hudson admired Cooper's quiet confidence, while Cooper saw in Hudson the future of Hollywood leading men. 6. James Dean. Dean captivated an entire generation. He only starred in 3 major films before his tragic death at 24, but his impact was seismic. According to Clark Gable, Dean and Cooper were briefly involved in the mid-1950s, around the time of Dean's rise with East of Eden and Rebel Without a Cause. The pair reportedly met through director George Stevens, who had worked closely with both men. Dean, known for being sexually fluid, was said to be fascinated by Cooper's old-school charm and stoic masculinity. Cooper, in turn, was captivated by Dean's youth and emotional depth. 7. Ramon Navarro. Mexican-born matinee idol Ramon Navarro, famous for the 1925 silent epic Ben-Hur, was one of Hollywood's earliest and most tragic closeted stars. Behind his charming smile was a man forced to hide his true self. According to Gable, Navarro and Cooper had a passionate but complicated affair in the early 1930s. Navarro, being older and more experienced, reportedly initiated the romance. The two met during a party hosted by director Clarence Brown, and according to insider gossip, the attraction was immediate. 8. George Nader. Though not as famous as Hudson or Dean, George Nader was one of Hollywood's most quietly courageous gay actors. Nader starred in numerous 1950s action and adventure films and was widely known to be part of Rock Hudson's circle. Clark Gable's claim that Nader and Cooper were brief lovers came as a shock to some, but studio records and private letters support their shared time together. They reportedly met during a beachside rap party hosted by Rock Hudson and began a summer romance. Nader was safe for co-op, not famous enough to blow the lid off. 9. Farley Granger. Farley Granger, best known for his roles in Hitchcock's Rope and Strangers on a Train, was a talented actor who lived a quiet but openly bisexual life within trusted circles. In his memoir, Granger admitted to affairs with both men and women, but never named Cooper. Clark Gable, however, once shared that he overheard Granger and Cooper discussing a weekend in Big Sur that sounded more than friendly. Gable's comments fueled rumors that the two shared a secret liaison during a 1951 break in filming. 10. Van Johnson. A 1940s heartthrob, Van Johnson was MGM's golden boy, starring in films like 30 Seconds Over Tokyo and A Guy Named Joe. Though Johnson married, rumors of his private relationships with men haunted him throughout his life. According to Clark Gable, Johnson and Cooper were introduced at a benefit ball in 1943. A few weeks later, the two were seen leaving a lake cabin in Big Bear together, igniting whispers around the studio. Gable said, "Van was all nerves around co-op. He looked at him like a schoolboy looking at a quarterback."